Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 11 of season 3 of the F123 My Team career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the British Grand Prix. We return home once more inside the Formula 1 game. Of course, if you missed out yesterday's sprint race video from the Austrian Grand Prix in the Styrian Mountains, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. And hopefully it wasn't a one-off, but we are finally back in this series. Yes, we had an absolute nightmare throughout a lot of recent races, but Austria felt like a bit of a turning point for us, and I'm hoping we can carry that momentum into this weekend. Championship-wise at the moment, Sergio Perez now with a 38-point lead at the top of the table over his teammate Max Verstappen. Carlos Sainz in third ahead of Russell and Charles Leclerc there. We're still 11 points back behind Alex Albon at this stage, and you can see 6 points back behind Aston Martin overall in the Constructors. But I'm hoping, as we get close to the summer break, as we prepare ourselves ready for the second half of the season, we really have spent a lot of time trying to work out this car, work out how to maximize its performance, and hopefully now we can really start to carry that forward into the second half of the campaign. If you're new around here, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed as well. We've just ticked over 113,000 subscribers as well, so making good and steady progress towards 120k. But anyway, let's do this thing though. British Grand Prix. We've had a nightmare around this venue as well inside F123, so I'm hoping this season can be a bit different. Well, it wouldn't be Silverstone without a lot of rain, would it? At least on a Saturday. Here we go then, ready for qualifying, and I've actually tried to be a little bit strategic here. Track is meant to be drying up. Well, the rain is meant to be getting less heavy towards the end of the session, so my plan was go out for 2 runs right at the end on a set of intermediates. That means the first lap, if I invalidate, then we got a second bite at this. But yeah, game reckons the inters are about a couple of tenths quicker, so not a lot in it. But of course I thought the rain's getting less and less persistent and the AI are all out on their full wet tyres, then maybe we can try and utilise this to our advantage, of course. And yeah, obviously don't really want to waste a set of full wets if I don't have to. I mean, it's a bit like real Formula 1, isn't it? Obviously I know there's big talks at the moment about completely abandoning the full wet tyres that we've completely got, because, I mean, when it's wet enough to use them, Formula 1 just red flag sessions anyway, so yeah, they're kind of a bit of a null and void thing in the Formula 1 world at the moment. But yeah, got to make sure that we're keeping up with Kevin Magnussen on this lap. We crossed the line with about 3 seconds spare under the delta, so of course, like I said, this one kind of a bit of a banker, getting our eye in, everything like that. It's the second lap that I'm really trying to push there. As you can see, losing a little bit of time to Kevin as we make our way towards the end of Sector 2. But of course, that Aston Martin isn't exactly a slow car either. And I mean, Kevin down in P12. They're race winners this season. They're the only other car to win a race outside of Red Bull. I know Mercedes won the sprint last weekend in Austria as well, but actual Grand Prix winners, it's Oscar Piastri, Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen this season, as Kevin actually into the pit lane then right towards the end of this lap. Funnily enough, he can't go right into the pit lane elsewhere on the lap, so I'll just nudging that inside curve really going to unsettle us, as out of the final corner will go. We have got onto the second run, but we're into P11, so this could be a bit like Fernando Alonso. I think it was back at the 2017 British Grand Prix, where he went for a bit of a heroic run in Q1 and ended up going like 3 seconds clear of anyone. Well, purple in Sector 1, purple in Sector 2. As long as we don't do anything stupid here, maybe this can be like the Fernando Alonso glory run from a couple of seasons back. Haven't checked the fuel. Oh, we've just about got enough. That would have been rather embarrassing, as making our way in towards the final couple of corners. I mean, we're safely through and into Q2 anyway, but how much safer can we get? Round in the final turn up towards the line. It is going to be, I think we're P1, 37.1. There we go, fastest at the end of Q1. Things you love to see. We're coming towards the end of Q2. This is starting to give me Imola from last season vibes as well, of course, where we took pole there just through being on the right tyre at the right time at the end of Q3. Yellow flags out down the Wellington Straight. It's one of the Red Bulls going slowly. Not too sure what that's all about, but yeah, 2.5 minutes left on the clock. Going out on a fresh set of inters. Top times in the 133s. So we're not a million miles away from that switch to potential dry tyres. But yeah, definitely again, going to try and go for a double run. No, that was dumb. I mean, we're 1.5 seconds up on Esteban Ocon, but still a pretty dumb mistake to make heading out onto the hangar straight to finish off my first lap. Let's see what the time could have been. Getting pretty racy as we make our way down towards the final couple of corners. It's amazing how much better suddenly the car's feeling again. You know, able to set the car up around those brake issues, things like that. We really have just spent a lot of time working out what clicks, as I think that would have been fastest there at 33.0. So I've got to make sure I don't invalidate this second run. We have, though, luckily, got a delta to go up against. Everyone else's time's still improving. Albon now down onto a 32.0. So if we want to match him, we need to improve on this time by a second there, as George Russell, 31.6. That was incredibly scary, almost wide at the old turn one. As we make our way in towards Magnussen Beckett's once again. Just don't run wide on the exit there, because he's really trying to attack. But, you know, it's that horrible attack, but don't attack too much. You know, be cautious, but not over-cautious, as only quarter of a second up to make our way down in towards the final couple of turns. I think even if we match the lap time we set last time around, it should be good enough to go through, but hopefully we're going to improve on it. It's actually, no, that would not be good enough to go through at the moment. Albon might be in the drop zone here at the end of Q2, but out of the final corner, nicely getting on the throttle up towards the line. I don't think we're through. I reckon we've messed that up. We have only P14 on the grid, just as I was starting to get confident. And there we go then. Alex Albon sneaks through right at the end there, so time's continuing to improve as the session went on. Charles Leclerc 130.5, so we just really did not get it hooked up then in the end. Don't know, I mean, we didn't even time the run badly. I was just way too cautious towards the end of the lap there, and easily another second at least on the table. But it's P14 then on the grid, ready for the British Grand Prix. We've got it all to do come race day Sunday.
Welcome everyone as you join us at a former Second World War aircraft base, now converted into one of the great motor racing tracks. Britain is one of only 2 countries to have held a Grand Prix in every year of the Formula One World Championship, and long may that continue. This is Silverstone, and this is the British Grand Prix. With good opportunities to overtake at the end of the Wellington and Hangar Straights, there's a lot of potential for close action around the 3.6 miles of Silverstone circuit. With 18 corners and average lap speeds of around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the longest and quickest circuits on the calendar. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Sainz, Perez, Verstappen, Albon, Gasly, Magnussen, Ocon, Oscar Piastri, Liam Lawson, De Vries, Mr. Monaco, Joe, Norris, Bottas, Stroll, Teo Pourchaire, Tsunoda, Sargent, Enzo Fittipaldi. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Now, can I get your take on Max Verstappen? As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to power unit component changes. It's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
Right, mate, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but I want you to treat it like any other race. Let's not make any unnecessary risks, please.
Right, well, here we are then, trackside for the British Grand Prix. Round 11 here of the season and 26 laps around my home venue. I'm looking forward to this one. Qualifying? Yeah, a bit of a disaster. Has been a common theme this season, but I'm still going on to the race with a little bit of confidence underneath me here. So let's wait and see what we can do. P14 points definitely, I think, are possible. You know, it looks like Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull just with a little bit of an advantage over everyone else, but maybe, just maybe, you know, well-timed safety car, something like that, we can really get in there. Here we are then, lining up on the grid though, ready for the British Grand Prix, waiting on those 5 red lights. Nice, the lights out, and away we go there. Or not really if you're Liam Lawson or Oscar Piastri. I'm going to get right up towards the wall as we head in towards turn 1. Zhou Guanyu, where's he come from? In towards that first corner, so we'll immediately pick up a warning for a tiny bit of contact with Oscar Piastri there. We hopped over the turn 1 curb because we were kind of span into it, but Alfa Romeo, after the dream start then, of course, has only scored points this season back at the Monaco Grand Prix, but we get around the outside of Zhou Guanyu there. Fantastic hookup as we head out of the loop. Are we going to be able to apply some pressure to Magnussen as we head down the Wellington Straight? There is Albon all over the back of his former teammate Max Verstappen. Magnussen, we know how aggressive he can be there. I was like to lift that other throttle to make sure we didn't pick up a second warning. Oh, come on, just get the throttle down off the corner. But yeah, 3 places then off the starters. Looks like one of the Mercs has hung on at the front of the field, but Ferrari getting in there as well. How is the downforce going to be through the old turn 1? Heavy fuel, everything like that. Not perfect, but not too bad either. Did make some tiny set of adjustments, of course, for the wet period yesterday. But kind of felt like we needed to run a little bit more wing anyway for the Grand Prix today, of course, if we were going to be stuck in the dirty air there. So, yeah, perhaps running a tiny bit more wing than I originally would have wanted to, but hopefully it's going to allow me to hang close to other cars through the twisty bits. But is it George Russell? Is it Lewis Hamilton then that leads the way at the end of that one? My money actually is on George Russell this weekend. Hamilton just really has not had the luck. Nope, as always, I am wrong there. Hamilton leading the way, I think for the first time since, well, it would have been Austria, wouldn't it, in the sprint race. But in an actual Grand Prix, really, the last time he led was, of course, Monaco, where he retired from the lead quite early on that afternoon. But, yeah, Russell got pole there as well. So perhaps Georgie boy needs to focus on his starts. Magnussen to the outside of Esteban Ocon. Those we make our way down in towards Magnussen Beckett. That was close to another warning. So you only got 3 of those around this venue as Ocon hooks it up all the way around the outside of Kevin Magnussen there as we head out onto the hangar straight. I'm enjoying watching this battle, but I don't really want to sit behind it for all too long. 3 wide there. So we head down the hangar straight, and can we go around the outside of Kevin Magnussen? He's going to really get the elbows out. I love how feisty the Dane is, but it is scary to battle against as we will get down the inside, a little bit of front lock-in towards the final couple of corners. But through goes Matt then as George back up with the new fast lap of the day. Looks like Ferrari, though, taking the lead of the race, but we need to get in the range of Albon, who's also on a set of mediums. So interesting strategy. Split strategies by the team. And Albon already then, we can see, getting his elbows out down the inside of Pierre Gasly. They continue to go side by side. That could help me get a bit closer. But Gasly, on the outside there, he has got the softer rubber, so it's still got the advantage. Well, I managed to pick up the DRS then on Pierre Gasly, but to be honest, I'm not sure how. I didn't think I was within a second. There's yellow flags out on just lap 4. Is that going to be Esteban Ocon? He's often been in early retirement from these races. No, it's Nick de Vries out of the Grand Prix. When are we getting Ricciardo in this game? That's what I want to know. Although it would be quite funny in this series, of course, because he'd probably go straight back into the McLaren. Clearly this weekend, though, looking at how Albon's getting on, just have not got the pace to match Ferrari, Red Bull and Mercedes. Still big developments coming in from those teams. And the problem is the only upgrades we now can do are ones that Red Bull have to supply us on the powertrain side of things. So we've got to really try and figure something out on this game. Starting to lose touch slightly with Albon, who is dragging Gasly along quite nicely. Kevin Magnussen now back within the range of myself, but yeah, just very, very odd. Very, very odd at the moment. Then again, it is Silverstone, and I've always thought, I know I've seen obviously you guys in the comments talk about it as well, but I do think Silverstone is a track where the AI have something a little bit extra with the ERS and the battery usage. They seem to be able to use it a lot around this place. Oh no, here comes Magnussen. I think, to be honest, the medium compound tyres at the moment have got a bit of an advantage. So I'm going to let him... Whoa! Well, I thought I was letting Magnussen by, but apparently not. Must have just completely misjudged it. Headed into the corner there, or he broke earlier than I was expecting him to. Was just as I slotted back in behind him. How did we not get front wing damage from that in everything that went on there? But huge snap. Because obviously we tried to not go into the back of him and lock the rears up in the process. And well, if this race was difficult, it's just been made 10 times harder. Very, very weird error here at Silverstone. But we managed to get it back out of the gravel trap. And now we've got a mountain to climb if we even want points here. No! No. 3-second time penalties. We just ran a tiny bit wide at the end of the hangar straight there, but trying to close in on Zhou Guanyu and that whole gaggle again. I mean, yeah, I'm going to try and go aggressive on the undercut. Going to box the end of this one because I feel like that spin has taken every usable bit of grip out of these soft compound tyres. But I really did think this weekend would finally be a good British Grand Prix. Like I said, I don't know what it is. Like I said, I'm adamant the AI have got an unfair amount of ERS to use around this venue. I'm adamant they're too quick down the straights too often. It's like they've got unlimited battery, but yeah, we just seem to also get no luck here. I don't think I've ever done a British Grand Prix on F123 where I haven't ended up facing the wrong way at least once. But we're not going to give up. We're going to keep pushing and pray for a safety car. Don't pick up another warning. Very, very close there. Was into the pits then at just the end of lap 10. Very, very early. Oh, we did get it slowed down in time. I forgot it was 37 here. But yeah, what's really annoyed me now is it seems like Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull are all absolutely duking it out at the front. It's selfishly annoying me, but it's allowed Albon to start closing back in on that whole gaggle of cars, as it looks like Gasly falling back in towards the clutches of the Aston Martins. So that's kind of making us look even worse on, you know, in theory. Fairly clean, tidy stop there. Sonoda going hards then to the end of the Grand Prix. But I'm hoping now, obviously with this, we can get back up to Zhou Guanyu, Liam Lawson and Lando Norris then. Steady on. Cold tyres. But yeah, I want to be still near the points by the end of this thing. But those Aston Martins might be a tough competition. Oh, yellow's out. Someone's got issues. It's one of the Ferraris by the looks of it. No, he's pitting. No one is having issues, apparently. Don't know what that was. There's other cars then peeling into the pit lane, so it hasn't been as much of an undercut as I'd originally anticipated. But we should still gain a little bit. Well, that gap's now no longer accurate, but there is Liam Lawson, so we haven't even got the undercut on the Williams. We're going to be a lot closer, though, to that Williams car as we make our way through the loop, so we might have got Zhou Guanyu at least. He's obviously staying at an extra lap, so we should get Zhou Guanyu, but yeah, Lando Norris right there as well. I think that's still Ocon, who's done. Yeah, it must be Ocon as well, just in front of him. So yeah, that still would only be P11 here. I watched that out of the old final corner, Luffields. Liam Lawson pulled a 1/10.5 on me, even though we were on the ERS. I didn't get a bad run or anything, it's just the AI have got some ridiculous poke. But then down this straight, he's got absolutely nothing. Down the inside we'll go of the Williams. I mean, it should be a fairly simple one for us anyway. You know, this is a good, quick car now. But yeah, next up Lando then. Hopefully we can get in the DRS of him. Chair and the other Williams into the pit lane then. Fittipaldi, here is Zhou Guanyu, so confirmation we have jumped him as well. Just got to make sure we get in the range of Lando. Tiny bit of battery through turn 1. Just make sure we get in that range, and I think we've done it. No, won't be close enough to him, but we'll take the free couple of tenths. Come on then, Lando Norris. Just over half distance then, and it is going to be a battle of the home drivers. Sounds ridiculous, of course, but I'd hope some of the home fans are rooting for me as much as they are for the McLaren driver, but down the inside we'll go. Easy move there. As, I mean, yeah, our fastest lap's only half a second away from the front runners as we go back into P12. Magnussen is only 4 seconds clear. You know what? It's not over yet. We can still score a point, maybe even a couple more if we get a safety car, but yeah, we are not going to give up. New personal best, purple through the final sector as well. We should be in the range of Ocon. Well, a little bit further back from Esteban Ocon as we make our way in through Magnussen Beckett's, but hopefully we're still going to be able to get a run on the French, or at least get a whole lot closer to him. See, Alpine now an absolute nightmare here in real life this season, but doing alright so far in this GP, so we're going to get right to him, right in towards the braking zone. That was aggressive. I'm not going to say it wasn't, but we're through. And Magnussen, 3 seconds in front, as you do not want to clip the grass there. We cannot catch that Aston Martin at the moment. Absolutely no chance. The gap's still floating at 4 seconds, and I'm giving it everything. So I reckon he's got those hard tyres working where he needs to. And the problem is as well, of course, with the huge DRS zones around here, and the fact they're at opposite ends of the circuit, we cannot get away from Ocon either. Lando Norris has latched onto this train. Fittipaldi, no chance for him, I don't think, but Yeah, this 3-second penalty. Where are we going? I didn't even get a warning for that, apparently. Yeah, this 3-second penalty, though, is going to hurt me as Ocon. Steady on, mate. Give me some room as we make our way... There we go, there's a warning. As we make our way into Magnussen Beckett's, but... Yeah, less than 10 laps to go now. It looks like we're going to be locked into a battle on the road for P11, as here comes Lando and Esteban down the back straight. Lando Norris has a look towards the outside. We'll slot in between myself and the Frenchman. Is he now going to try and look down the inside? Thinks about it. And we just cannot get the car stopped into there still. Every time I feel like I'm understeering into that final chicane. Lando. This time to the inside as we make our way into Magnussen Beckett's. Come on, man. Contact there at 160 miles an hour between myself and our fellow Brit. And I mean, at least we're putting on a show for the home crowd. Esteban Ocon now will get back into position. But Lando, yeah, was actually ahead of me before we went over the DRS detection point. So we will take the DRS as we head down the straight. Got to be careful of Fittipaldi towards the end of this race still. But yeah, this is turning into a nice battle as there's the lock-up for the lap. So Ocon around the outside, not going to make it easy for him. Show him the runoff area there out of the final corner as is he going to try and get a run down towards the inside for turn 1? No, that was close to another warning. Come on. Oh, third time's a charm. I think Esteban Ocon's thinking. This time around decides to wait and bail out of it as we make our way in through Magnussen Beckett's. We can still see struggling to get the car positioned where I want it there. Really have not had the precision we needed. So Ocon this time around to the outside. Lando Norris sees the opportunity, sees the window, and will try and follow him round. Thought about trying to keep the nose there as... Oh, sorry, Lando. That was not quite my intention. So make our way down in towards the final couple of turns, but do not lose the DRS range to Ocon. I think the great thing about Silverstone nowadays is it's such an easy track to follow and catch up on. Because it's wide open and obviously so high speed. You know, with the exception of obviously through some of the twisty bits. But even then, a lot of the corners around here are such low speed that you don't get affected by the dirty areas. Back down the inside of Esteban Ocon will go. Compromise my own... Hello! Esteban Ocon's absolutely had me there, around the outside. Thought about having a look for a move down the inside, but do not trust myself on the brakes while over the bump, as that is not good either. Nudge the sausage curb. I'm going to use battery again. We cannot let him get out a second, but... Yeah, this is definitely an AI-strong circuit. Don't know many other tracks where they'd have the confidence to hook it up clean around the outside of the corner like that. It definitely isn't for the positions I want to be fighting for, but we are having one of the best battles of the season here as down around the outside of Esteban Ocon. Again, they're 220 miles an hour down the hangar straight. Don't think... Whoa, Esteban Ocon's hit me as we make our way down towards the final couple of corners. Somehow he hasn't picked up front wing damage from that as the Frenchman... Oh, Lando Norris is trying to get in there as well as I wanted to try and switch him off for the final couple of corners. We go round the outside though, and Ocon's going to cost himself a lot of time. Can we get the 1 second out before turn 1? No, we can't. Lando Norris finds a way around him as well, but now, come on, push, let them squabble. Let them squabble. We might still get the 3 second window that we need. Well, I reckon Ocon has picked up a little bit of damage in that, so 3 will become 2 then. It looks like it will again be a battle of the Brits in the final few laps here of the GP. Ocon has dropped outside the DRS range of Lando Norris. Might not be enough damage for him to bother pitting towards the end of this race, but yeah, I think without that spin, we could have definitely been with Albon here. That would have been a really promising result. We've just had too many races this season of what if. I had never had a season like it before on F1. Pretty much in any game, F1 game, I don't think. With maybe the exception of Season 3 of F1 22, but that was more what-ifs because of mechanical failures, which we've still not had on F1 23. I'm getting very, very nervous about that. Well, I don't know if Lando Norris has just been told to sit behind me late on, because obviously we've got that penalty and not risk having an incident like Ocon and I did, but yeah, he's really not actually challenging me all too much. Please don't, Lando. No, not into the old turn 1. Lando Norris there. I was literally saying about how he hasn't been battling me too hard at this stage of the day, as we'll try and make sure that we're the ones that picks up the DRS. We'll even keep the position in the process there, but not quite as scary as Hamilton Verstappen back in 2021, but still not exactly my idea of fun inside F1 23. As Lando Norris, though, won't have the DRS, so we will hang on for yet another lap. Running our way then through the final couple of corners, about to start the last lap here from Silverstone. And And we are still in this battle with Lando Norris. It is not for the positions I'm sure either of us would have wanted to duke it out for. But I tell you what, I reckon I've picked up Max Verstappen's Silverstone curse, because I'm still yet to score points here in F123, a track that I've won at before on previous F1 games. But there is something about this venue on F123 that I am absolutely not able to wrap my head around. I don't know if it's the braking, I don't know if it's just the downforce levels or my setups that I'm constantly getting wrong or what, but whatever I try here does not seem to work for us. We should have scored points today. You know, things would have worked out very, very differently had we not had that spin. But I absolutely believe we would have undercut and got close to Alex Albon and pretty much just tried to hang on to his coattails for the rest of the afternoon. Even if we hadn't achieved that, we would have battled with the group behind. George Russell, though, back on top in the world of Formula 1. Red Bull's streak once again is over here, as Mercedes will get their first proper win of the season, and George Russell will win his very first home Grand Prix there. But it is the other two Brits, of Lando and myself, that are going side by side in towards the final couple of corners here. We'll try and make sure we give him the room. Lando Norris still there, though, to make our way. No, he's going to tuck back in for whatever reason through the final couple of corners here at Silverstone. It's going to be 11th on the road, P12 after our penalty.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them is losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
Well, Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again. And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. The gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race today for our championship leader. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
There's a few contenders, but George Russell definitely stood out, I think. A really solid drive from him today, and one I'm sure the fans enjoyed.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. And pulling further ahead in the standings, it's Red Bull. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Well, there we are then, the end of the British Grand Prix, and George Russell, pole position, fastest lap, race victory there, never really looked in doubt for our fellow Brit, and things you absolutely love to see there. Max Verstappen in P2 and Hamilton, yet another British Grand Prix podium as well there. Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, Albon, and yeah, Perez having a bit of a disaster down in 7th place. I think he had some mechanical issues this afternoon, which really did cost him. Able to beat out Piastri, Magnussen, and Gasly there, our final point scorer. Lando just beats out myself. But yeah, we just have no luck around Silverstone, do we, on this game? Nick de Vries, the only car not to make it to the checkered flag. But that means championship-wise, Perez, that gap back down to just 26 points there. Russell with that win, though, leapfrogs up into P3, best of the rest. Sainz, Leclerc, Hamilton there ahead of Piastri, Albon, and myself. Kevin Magnussen now just 4 points back behind me again, as Albon 19 points ahead. Well, it must have been Season 3 of F122. I lost to a teammate, but it doesn't happen often on the F1 games, to be fair, but Albon has absolutely been flying so far in this campaign there. Constructors-wise, though, Red Bull 113 clear. Mercedes, though, carved down that gap to Ferrari, and yeah, with Albon's good result, though, we do still take a couple of points out of Aston Martin there. The gap back down to 4. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourselves subscribed, and we will return tomorrow then. I think we're back in Le Castellet. You guys do not want to miss that.